Fantastic. Well, 202, don't want to take up too much time. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Callan Moody. I'm the program director of the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, or OLLI program here at Tufts. Today, we're hoping to keep it about 30 to an hour or so. We do have quite a few people joining us today, so just to kind of help manage things, if you have any questions, anything like that, feel free to put them into the chat. That will just help us moderate the Q&A at the end. And then same if you run into any technical issues or anything like that, feel free to put that in the chat, and we can assist you. So like I said, I'm Callan Moody, I'm the program director, and I'm joined by Kathy Scanlon, who is our program admin, and the other part of our OLLI team. And we have about 14 of our fall course instructors on the call today, as well as people who have been longtime members, and people who are just learning more about the program and interested in joining. So we're really excited to have you all here. This is just a quick kind of agenda of what to expect today. We will kind of do a quick overview of the program, how it works, membership structure, things like that. And then really the meat of today's call is hearing from our course instructors about their classes and why they enjoy teaching. We'll then quickly kind of review just some of the other benefits to being a Tufts OLLI member. And then at the end, you have time for questions. So like I said, as we go through today, feel free to put any questions in the chat. So the mission of the Tufts Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, or again, OLLI, as we refer to it, is to engage the minds and foster the well-being of adult learners aged 50 or better. We are part of a national network, so there are more than 120 OLLI institutes across the nation. I think they have some in Hawaii, Alaska, lots in California and Arizona, but all across the country. And each institute is associated with either a higher education institution, community college, something like that. So I think within Greater Boston, if you're looking at programs, you may also be aware of the UMass program, Brandeis. We work closely together, but each institute can set its own membership fees, membership structure, course fees. So we're all slightly different in that way. So it really is just finding the best fit for you. For our OLLI program, we do a tiered membership, and really it's just kind of to allow folks to choose how involved they're going to be. We know some people travel a lot in the summer, might go to Florida in the winter and only want to do a couple of Zoom classes, so that might make more sense for the base fee. Or we have folks who take, I think the highest I've seen is somebody took 14 classes last year, and for them it makes sense to do the gold. Really, the basic difference is access to the clubs is included in the bronze or higher tiers, and then the silver and gold have a certain number of free courses, again depending on your own personal preference and how involved you think you might be with the program. For our courses, all of our courses are reviewed and approved by our curriculum committee, and this committee is made up of active Tufts OLLI members, so it's kind of all peer reviewed and approved, and they select the courses that are running. We hold courses in person and on Zoom. Again, we have a lot of members who travel, might not want to drive to campus, stuff like that, so we try to accommodate folks as much as possible. All of our courses are 2 hours long, or the majority of them are 2 hours long. We do encourage instructors to take a break in the middle. People can get up, stretch their legs. For our Zoom courses, most of them are recorded. We do leave that up to instructor discretion. So I don't want folks thinking they can, sign up for a class and never actually attend the live one because they can just get the recording. It does vary a lot depending on the class and the content of the class. We have 4 terms, so we're currently prepping for fall, and the classes will begin in September, and then we have a winter, spring, and summer. And as you'll hear today, our courses are taught by a wide range of people and backgrounds, which is fantastic. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the program. So we have OLLI members who teach, we have Tufts students and alumni who teach, some faculty and staff from Tufts, and then also outside experts, people who enjoy teaching and teaching to this population, and kind of teach at a wide variety of programs, so they come to us. Our course fees vary depending on the length of the class. So if it's a 1-session class, it's $25, up to 8 session is $175. And again, that also depends on your membership tier. Again, if you have free classes, you can do that. But in general, the fee structure is $25 per class session. in addition to the courses that our curriculum committee select and we offer, we also work with Osher Online. So this is kind of, again, part of the bigger Osher program. This is a subset of that. So they select courses to offer on Zoom. And we are opening these up to our members. So they're scheduled to be available, again, from East Coast all the way out to folks in Alaska and Hawaii can participate. So their timings for us tend to be later in the evenings. So if you are, working or have other things going on in a day, it can be a great chance to kind of still be able to take classes with folks. They are all on Zoom, 90 minutes, so slightly shorter than ours and usually not recorded. And they're all taught by outside experts. So again, you won't, unlike our classes, we'll have like members or Tufts alumni or staff teaching. All of the courses through Osher Online are taught by outside experts. But you still register for them with us, provide the Zoom link, all that good stuff. So it's a very kind of seamless process there. If you're interested in taking classes in person and on campus, this is kind of the outside of the building that we call our home. This is the Adamic Art Center or Alumni Lounge, so kind of where these big windows are right there. That's where we are in the mornings. We have coffee. We'll come in person for our Friday Lunch and Learn talks. All of our special events are there. If you're familiar with the Medford-Somerville area, so where we're located, Adamic Art Center, it's right off of College Ave, so Powder House. The big kind of traffic circle close to Davis is right there, and then the new T stop is here. So very accessible. And we try to schedule all of our classes kind of within walking distance there to try and make it easy for our members. But if you are a current member or you just joined, we'll be sending out all of this information as well. So you'll have that handy.
Okay.
But from that, excited to move on and kind of introduce some of our fall course leaders. Like I said, we have 14 of our fall course leaders here today are going to share information about their class. We're going to go through them in alphabetical order. So first up, we have the Darcys, and then on deck will be, hold on, I have to make this a little bit bigger so I can see. On deck will be Amy Travis. But wonderful. Cleo and Steve, if you want to kick it off.
Callan, I'm Cleo.
And I'm Steve. We learned that a survey of our OLLI members' interests placed cats near the top. We decided that we had to develop an online class on domestic and wild cats that we'll be offering this fall.
If you join us in this class, we will have lots of fun and we will talk about a wide range of topics, including the biology of cats, what makes them unique. We'll talk about how cats communicate, both verbally and non-verbally, and we'll talk about famous cats in history and literature and pop culture.
Now, this is just truly a discussion session, so we're going to give you the opportunity to share your stories about your cat, other cats that you might have known, and we'll even give you a chance to lead a discussion session, if you want, on some subject of cats that interests you.
So please join us this fall and share our love of cats.
Fantastic. Thank you both. So up next we have Amy, and then on deck will be Ed Dyke. So Amy, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Callan. My name is Amy. I'm so excited to offer demystifying digital devices to the Tufts OLLI community. I taught this class last spring to the OLLI community at Washington University, and I think it went really well. And I have no idea why there's an echo.
Oh. Totally okay. Amy, not to jump in, but I know Amy's also very open to questions. We've been able to connect her to a few members. So if you have any other questions for her class, happy to connect you both via email.
Yeah. So I don't know if you all can hear me okay with this echo, if you're hearing the echo.
Elizabeth needs to mute. That's where the echo's coming from.
I don't know. No, my mute is off. Sorry.
You're
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. So just a little bit about me. I worked for 40 years in the computer industry as a technical writer and a user interface designer. My passion is to help people understand the technology around them, to help them feel more comfortable and in control when using digital tools. So in this class, we're going to be looking at how all kinds of digital devices work: computers, printers, mice, smartphones, the internet, cybersecurity, robots, AI. And Just to be clear, this isn't a how-to course. I'm not going to be talking about how to set up your laptop or tips on smartphone photography. This is about how these tools do the things that they do. How when you type a word on a keyboard, it shows up on your screen, or how your phone recognizes your face, how robots sense the environment and move in response. This is such an important and transformative time for technology. You know it's changing rapidly due to the emergence of AI. And if you take this class, you will come away with a better understanding of how this technology actually works. So to help you feel more comfortable making decisions about how you use the digital tools that we all rely on. No reading required. There will be some videos to watch as homework. So hope you'll sign up. We'll have a great time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amy. So up next we have Ed, and then on deck is Ron Bernard. So Ed, take it away. Ed, I think you're still muted.
You can hear me now?
We can.
All
Perfect.
right. So I've been involved with Tufts OLLI since 2023 and have really enjoyed the conversations and the discussions that I've had in the classes I've taken. I've taken many on literature and philosophy, and those are my interests. I worked at the Department of Public Health in Massachusetts for much of my career, but um, as a young man, I took a master's degree in English, and I've still had a passion for reading and for reading poetry. So, at the urging of some of my colleagues and Tufts OLLI, I decided to put together this course to talk about some favorite poets of mine, Yeats, Frost, Eliot, and Auden. And so what I will do is provide some background and information on each one of these poets, the influences that helped them write their poetry, and how they influenced other poets of their time and how they influenced each other. So you don't necessarily need a background in these poets because I will be providing that. But what I do look forward to is discussing particular poems of each one of these poets using the tools that these poets use, that is to say, metaphor and diction and form. So I will send out the poems that we will discuss at least 1 week before each class. Um, this is a 4-session class, so we'll devote each class to one of those poets. So I look forward to having these discussions. This will be in person at the Commons in Lincoln. Oh yes, and it's October 21st, the 29th, November, and November 12th.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you, Ed.
You
So next
bet.
we have Ron, and then Ron, Martin Burns, you're on deck after Ron.
Hi, good afternoon. Ron Bernard here to talk about James A. Michener's book, Tales of the South Pacific. Tales was Michener's first book. It won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1948. And Rogers and Hammerstein liked the book well enough to take several characters and chapters from it to develop their musical South Pacific. Now, although the characters in the book are fictional, Michener presents them within the backdrop of real events during the Pacific Campaign during World War II. Our discussions center around those characters and those historical events. I occasionally contribute historical insight to give context to the reading assignments. I've done this course before. It's really interesting, and I hope you consider it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ron. So next we have Martin Burns, and then Art, you're on deck afterwards.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to Callan and the team for putting this together. As it says there, I'm a proud Tufts alum, so it's really a thrill to be back on campus, even if it's via online. I love seeing the pictures of the campus in Barnum Hall and Alumni Lounge. My course is Northern Ireland from conflict to compromise, and After Tufts University, very recently, I've been living in Belfast in the north of Ireland or Northern Ireland, depending on your point of view. And I completed a master's in transformation and social justice there at Queen's University. It was a wonderful time. I learned so much in the classroom, and also out being involved in community. So we focus a lot on roughly the past 50 years in Northern Ireland. We do a lot on to cover background information because you can't really separate the story of Northern Ireland from the Irish story. Well, we have a lot of background from that. We also talk about the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, how that came about. That was my topic for my dissertation, how Sinn Féin, the Republican leadership, persuaded their members to agree to what was essentially a compromise agreement. So I've had the opportunity to meet many of the major figures in the Republican movement and got their take on it, people such as Jerry Adams. It's a fascinating course. It's a fascinating part of the world. I give plenty of book suggestions, but there's no need for any required reading. We also, to the extent available, use audio and visual clips to really bring us back into history. So I hope you'll consider taking my class. I've given it for the Johns Hopkins Alumni Association, and they liked it. So I think you will as well. So really appreciate your consideration.
Fantastic. Thank you, Martin. Up next, we have Art, and then Jem, you're on deck after Art.
Hi, my name is Art, and as you can see from the write-up, what I'm offering here is a math class. And I know a lot of people wouldn't willingly confront algebraic equations or a Cartesian plane with an X and Y axis and a curve. They wouldn't do it if you held a gun to their head, and that's fine. But some people actually do want to worry about technical stuff. I was thinking the other day that we learn in high school that Johannes Kepler, back around 1600, figured out that planets go around the sun in an elliptical orbit with the sun at its focus. And I was just wondering this morning how many people could actually tell you what an ellipse is. And I imagine even fewer could tell you what a focus is of an ellipse. But this is what we're going to be talking about in this class. And so if you have this sort of mind and this sort of interest, please join.
Fantastic, Art. Thank you. So next we have Jem, followed by Lark. So Jem, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jem, and I'm a current PhD student in the Department of English here at Tufts. So I've really been enjoying, my time in the program so far and being at Tufts, and I'm excited by the chance to get to discuss this focus on queer cinema with some of you this fall. And so I'm hoping that this class will be a mix of lecture that I can bring in with context, a little bit more scholarly discussion, and also just free-flowing discussion between everyone in the class as well. So we'll be meeting for 6 Wednesdays, and the sort of plan is to have everyone watch whichever film we're doing for that week before we meet for that week. And then whenever the class starts, we'll be again listening to and thinking about some of the critical and surrounding discussions on these films, as well as bringing in our own takes to chat about the ways that queer cinema has evolved from films like Brokeback Mountain to Call Me by Your Name. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jem. So next we have Lark, and then on deck is Elizabeth Cabot. So Lark, go ahead.
Hi, thanks, Jem. That course sounds amazing. I wish I could sit in on it. Can everyone hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay. So I am offering a course on early American religious movements, looking at the two awakenings in the context of early American Protestantism. So we're going to look at all of the major examples like Mormonism. We might get into Swedenborgianism. We'll look at the Adventist movement. So we'll hit all of the highlights of the interesting and exciting changes that were happening in American Christianity from the 1600s to really, it'll go closer to the 1900s than just stopping at the 1800s. But we'll look at those movements and explore the timeline and how different events influenced the advent of each movement.
Awesome. Thank you, Lark. So next we have Elizabeth Cabot, and then Jim, you are on deck. Liz, are you still on? Oh, I think you're muted still.
Talk about your class. We'd love to hear about it.
All right. I'm hoping other people can see me though. Anyway, Frost is my favorite poet, and I've taught courses of him for a long time. He's considered a New England regional poet, but of course, nationally and internationally, he's very famous. I've been teaching courses on him for a long time. What I like particularly is, well, one thing is the diversity of his subject matter and his poetic forms. He wrote short, witty 2 or 4 liners. He also wrote lots of sonnets and used typical metrical patterns. And then he wrote several longer narrative poems. We will discuss those various forms. And my class is primarily to discussion. It's only 2 sessions. The poems are online. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you. And I hope that you will like Frost as much as I do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Perfect. And yeah, no echo during that. So I think you got it figured.
Jim Sawilla. I've been a Tufts member for a while now, and in the last few years, I've taught a variety of literature classes. My educational background is in literature, though my professional career was spent in high tech here in Boston for about 40 years, and now I'm back to literature. And most recently, I've been teaching courses in Victorian novels, or really concentrating on a few novelists. I did a course on the Brontes and George Eliot, and so I decided that it would be time to move on to the late Victorian period, and I was encouraged to do so by a number of people in the Middlemarch class this spring. So that's where we're going, and I love Hardy. He's quite a departure, though he is still a recognizable Victorian novelist. He's quite a departure, both in his stance on social and moral norms. He's willing to challenge those norms and create some very interesting characters out of it. And Tess of the D'Urbervilles, in particular, is one of them. And this is one of Hardy's last novels. The only other novel he published after this was Jude the Obscure. And after that, he gave up because he made enough money writing novels. He turned to poetry because his first love was to be a poet. So we'll be concentrating on Tessa of the D'Urbervilles. It is a highly participative class. I say I teach. I actually try to just lead. I provide some background. I like to focus on social and historical elements that the authors use to shape their story and their characters. And so I provide material for discussion, but largely discussion goes where it will go with the highly educated readers we have here at Tufts. So I hope you'll be able to join in the fall.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jim. So next we have Jody, and then Rachel Alpert, you're on deck.
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Perfect.
Awesome. It's lovely to meet you guys. My name is Jody Frias. I am a fifth year PhD student here at Tufts University, studying biomedical engineering. And I am teaching the class Threads of Innovation, How Fiber Arts Shape the Digital World. And the reason I'm taking this class is although I'm studying biomedical engineering, another one of my big passions is fiber art, specifically cross stitch and needlepoint. And so the goal of this class is to really show anyone that's in the class how programming and algorithms, why we might not typically think of knitting needles and embroidery hoops when we think of those things. They're actually a lot more closely related than we think. So we'll be going through the history of fiber arts and how it connects to engineering and how a lot of today's scientific advances are really connected to fiber arts. And we'll also be doing some hands-on crafting along the way. Specifically, one example is we'll be talking about how cross-stitch and digital images are very similar, and we'll be making like a little cross-stitch pattern based off of an image to kind of correlate those. But yeah, this class is going to be really interactive. We'll have a lot of hands-on components, and I'm really excited about it. So I hope that some of you will join.
Awesome. Thank you, Jody. So
Thank
next we
you.
have Rachel, and then Tina, you are on deck afterwards.
Hi, thank you. I'm Rachel. It's terrific to be in this group and to hear all these wonderful courses that are being offered. Transgender rights and the transgender people are obviously the flashpoint for the culture wars these days, especially in the last couple of years since Trump was reelected. And we will be doing a deep dive into what that really means from a social perspective, from a scientific perspective, from a legal perspective. We'll have first class, we'll talk about things like, is sex really an immutable biological binary? Is gender different than sex, or is it the same thing? What is a man? What is a woman? Is that different than male and female? Can a biological man be a woman and a biological woman be a man? What is a woman? Is a trans woman a woman? What about intersex people? Gender ideology, what is that? And that's just the introduction, because half the states in the country are inhospitable to trans people now, and half the states in the country are welcoming to trans people. Are we going to divide our country into those kind of populations in the culture war? Then we'll look at what the Trump administration has been doing, full-scale assault. We'll look at like the Supreme Court in the United States and in other countries. What do they say about trans rights? Then we'll go on to talk about some specific hot button issues, like women's spaces, bathrooms, locker rooms, prisons, shelters, scouting. That's included in that. And particularly we'll look at sports, trans girls and trans women in sports, which the Supreme Court just issued a decision on that very recently. I taught this class at a different lifelong learning program last spring, and so much has happened in the last 3 or 4 months. We could spend weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks talking about it. And then we'll also talk about minors, and the Supreme Court has also weighed in on that. What is the rights of minors, if any, with vis-a-vis parents, the school, the state governments, and gender affirming care? Should minors be allowed to receive gender affirming care, whatever that is? Or many states have now prohibited that. And that's one thing that the Supreme Court has just recently upheld. This will be a very interactive course. This is not a polemic, it's not a lecture. I want people to be able to discuss their ideas about this and come to their own conclusions about what really ought to be the policy. There are very tricky, nuanced issues here, and I'm really looking forward to having this class.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rachel. Next we have Teeny, and then Lark, you are on deck again. So Teeny, take it away.
Now, as a 7 year long member of OSHA, that has enriched my life so much that I want to do something back. And I have been a nature guide for many years. I was trained here in Winchester and in the Netherlands, and then back here. And I've led many walks for adults and children and focus on different aspects. So I thought, gosh, I know more than the average person, although I'm definitely not trained in biology. So I made a course of 2 sessions, 2 different walks, one in the Long Pond area in the Veld, which has been a conservation area for more than 100 years, and one in the town forest in Winchester, which was maintained as a park up to 1940. So we'll talk about history and focus on what grows there, but also look at the landscape and the interactions between plants, trees, water, birds, animals. And that makes it more interesting. And I have warned in my piece, this is not smooth surface, so you have to be used to be walking outside, wear sturdy shoes, bring some water or a snack if you want to. There are no facilities. These walks are about 2 hours, but if we are lucky, we'll see a great many good things, and I will learn about many things. And it always gives me a lot of pleasure, so I hope other people enjoy it too.
Wonderful. Thank you, Teeny. So next we have Lark, and then Stephen Monroe will be up next. So Lark, go ahead.
Hi again. So we are going to look at another hot topic. When scarcity shapes belief, we're going to look at how economic and political attitudes are correlated, including how they influence cognition and how cognition influences that. In other words, is there a relationship between low IQ and conservative political ideology? Why or why not? What are all of the socioeconomic contextual factors that contribute to hard extremist perspectives in political ideology? How do we end up with fascism? So we're going to look at all of the questions, exploring how do we reach authoritarianism as something that becomes culturally desirable. So we'll look at all of those factors together.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then Stephen, my apologies, I got some slides out of order, so he should have been up before the teas. But Stephen, please take it away. Oh, Stephen, I think you're still muted. So actually, if you want to unmute, I'm so sorry.
Okay, to start again. I taught molecular biology for 35 years. I'm long retired now, and I teach courses in a couple different venues. And this course is actually a outgrowth of one I taught at OLLI a couple years ago called How Life Began. And as I planned that course, I realized that when you talk about the origins of life today, you really have to talk about planetary explorations. And I've come to realize that Mars gets a lot of short shrift in talking about life on other worlds, because Mars is really the world that we know the most about. And Mars has been, and the question of life on Mars has been a question of interest for a long time. And I think that recently there have been some unexpected findings, which sort of increase the pace of our interest in that. Some interesting rocks sitting on Mars that look very much like rocks on Earth that have signs of microbial activity. So the questions are whether there was life on ancient Mars or whether there is perhaps life on Mars even today. And so this is a course that's a bit out of the world, but I don't hope to convince you that there's life on Mars, but I hope that you leave the course thinking that it is a possibility, and perhaps we will know the answer sometime in our lifetime. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you again to all of our instructors. So we have these courses plus more. I think we're offering 40 some odd courses this fall. So more information about all of that can be found on our website. If you like to use a QR code scanner, you can also scan the QR code there and it'll bring you directly to kind of our course registration page. We do also do our course catalog online. So there we have the kind of the main content of the courses, the description, all the information that you saw here is organized in our course catalog by day of the week. But we do also include in the earlier pages some table of contents where it lists the courses by topic. So say if you're really interested in like history or science or things like that, you can identify those classes or by course. Thank you. Like I was saying, so that in the course catalog, we also include bios about all of our course instructors, so you can learn more information about everybody you met today. And we also have started including kind of a brief profile of an OLLI member. So our fall course catalog, we have features Diane Betcher. She's been a long-time member. She's led courses, and she's also kind of starting her term as the chair of our executive committee. So she's somebody you'll see around campus. In addition to all of our fall courses, we offer lunch and learn talks. These are free with any membership level. They take place during our fall, winter, and spring terms. Fall and spring, we have virtual as well as in-person options. So every Wednesdays and Fridays. These are all organized by another wonderful committee made up of current OLLI members. And this is just kind of a sneak preview of the talks that we have coming up this fall. So we're offering 14 of them. So the 23rd, all of those with the white circle are those that only take place on Zoom on Wednesdays, and those with kind of the dotted circle will be held in person on Fridays. So this is another great kind of membership benefit, something that might spark ideas for a class if you're interested in leading it, or kind of help spur on discussion or help you contribute to some of your fall classes as well. In addition to our Lunch and Learn talks, we offer special events open to all of our current members, and some like today are open to prospective members as well. But just some examples of the things we have coming up this fall. Next week, we have a member who is leading a tour of the De Cordova Sculpture Park. So this is part of our OLLI on Foot series. We do new member orientation. We have new member orientations that we provide. New this year, we're doing some community luncheons. So usually, if you've been a member in the past, we've always kind of held the last Friday to do a lunch. We're also going to start off our fall term with a lunch this time. So you can really get to know all the members you'll be on campus with during the semester and get to recognize folks in your classes and things like that a little earlier on. We also have an OLLI at Night event, so Conversations with Marvento Duo. This is a flautist duo, so there'll be a concert being held at one of our community partners, and it's now going to be our second annual online auction held in November. A lot of great kind of auction items there. And then, so these are just some of the special events we have coming up this fall. Past special events, we've featured lectures from Tufts faculty. We had comedian David Mish, who worked on Mork and Mindy and SNL. We've done performances by the Basil Bubs, which is the a cappella group on campus. So, wide range of options, both in our special events, our courses, and our Lunch and Learn talks. So kind of something for everybody. In addition to classes and Lunch and Learn talks, we do offer our adventure clubs or special interest clubs. So these, again, meet on a regular basis, are led fully by members, and just a great way to kind of connect if you're looking for a book club or you really love history and want to learn more about the topic and kind of build up your presentation skills. History Club has a lot of members who will give presentations on things that they find fascinating. So I think right now they're wrapping up a series on the Mughal Empire and learning more and sharing more about that. So again, just another membership benefit. We also have a new, call it kind of our OLLI app, but Near Peer, it's just a great way to kind of connect with folks with shared interests. This is actually how we learned that a lot of our members have an interest in cats. So I had shared that kind of with the curriculum committee, which is how the Darcys kind of help form the Darcys from their class. So just another great kind of benefit there and way to stay connected. And finally, we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. So I've already mentioned a couple of our committees, the curriculum committee, lunch and learn committee, but we also have folks who help us, do outreach to new members and make sure that they're onboarded. If you want to take on a little more responsibility in a class and get to know folks, we're always looking for classroom assistants. So if you have any, you feel really comfortable with Zoom, for example, kind of helping our Zoom classes run and things like that. Our Ollie on Foot trips. So I said we have the Cordova coming up next week. We just had another member run one last week to the Mount Auburn Cemetery. These are all volunteer run. So, close, local to campus, easy to people to get to, but another great way to kind of try volunteering to lead something. Same with our special interest groups or the clubs. If you have a specific topic or something that you're really passionate about and think could make a great club, and there'd be other people, we can definitely help kind of set that up and get that going. And then at all of our events, we also look for volunteers to help with setup and breakdown and check-in and stuff like that. So lots of ways to be involved beyond just taking classes and or leading a class. So you can kind of pick and choose. In addition to that, we also have our Spotlight Literary Magazine. So this is a chance if you are a writer or a poet or a photographer or an artist, a chance to have your work published. We're bringing it back. We'll be publishing our next version in kind of a new format in spring 2027. So we'll be sharing more information about that with our current members later this fall. But just another great way to kind of be involved with the program and share the work that you do. I always love reading the pieces and seeing the photos and everything that our members take, because it's just a really different side to the membership community, which is really great. So with that, I haven't seen any questions in the chat. So just kind of want to put a plug in. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in there. I know, we just seeing one. Would you mind sharing the link to the Tufts OLLI? Yep, absolutely. So we kind of add new members to that twice a week. And again, this has been recorded, so I'll share this out with everybody that's attended. We do have an in-person open house event taking place next Wednesday as well. So kind of different group of instructors, still a great way to meet more members, just learn more about the program and everything like that. And then I'm not seeing any other questions come through. So because we do have a little bit of time, I'm actually going to skip. We have a wonderful video that was put together a few years ago by our team. So this can kind of just show you what it's like to be a member on campus. We are in a slightly new space, but you'll hear from some familiar faces and just other members about what it means to be a member. So let me see this.
What inspires me about working for the Tufts OSHA Lifelong Learning Institute is our members. I get to work with a lot of our members who volunteer in various capacities, and it's just wonderful to get to know them. It's just a really great community.
My wife and I are very inquisitive, and it's been a great opportunity to learn about lots of things we didn't know before. The other thing that's important about this particular OLLI is the connection with Tufts. So we get lots of great presenters from the faculty and from postgrad students.
I think in retirement, these members are learning just for the sake of learning, just to better themselves. And through that, they've created this great sense of community, and they've made friends, and they interact with other people they may have never met in their life.
My name is Linda O'Brien. I'm teaching a novel by D.H. Lawrence. I had retired, and having taught for so many years, I just missed the opportunity to share thoughts. And I also felt that there was a lot that I still had to learn. So I did a 3-year course on Dante's Divine Comedy. And that doesn't sound like it might be something to be excited about, but it actually was. And that really got me hooked on the program.
I think it's a great way for people to continue learning and to take advantage of maybe taking classes in subjects they didn't get to take in college or their master's program, and really kind of find what they're interested in outside of what they did for a profession or something like that. It's also a great way for our members to maybe get out of the house, kind of meet new friends, interact with people just within their community.
I think the best thing about it is the opportunity to meet other people and get other ideas on various topics that we're looking at. The sort of people that join OLLI tend to be pretty interesting.
So far, all of the people that I've met, that I've taken courses with, and that I have taught have been inspiring.
Ranging anywhere from 60 to 90 years old, and they're all actively involved in our program, and they're taking classes and they're learning new things and they're on our boards and volunteering. I just think it's amazing to see so many people being so active after they've retired from a full-time job.
Well, I think it's great value for money and a great opportunity to diversify your knowledge and meet a lot of interesting people.
Awesome. So I did see a couple of questions come in during that. So thank you. So first, we have Trish. Yep, thank you. So another volunteer opportunity is leading a dine around. So these are a chance for members to come together for dinner, usually around 5 or sometimes lunch, different restaurants around campus, not around campus, apologies, around the area. So sometimes in Lexington, sometimes in Burlington, but just a chance for members to come together there. Judith, I see your question about the open house next Wednesday. That is at 6:30 p.m. So in the evening. So again, if you're working or if you have friends that are working during the day, a great chance to still stop by. We'll have light food and beverage available, and a chance to learn more about the program there. And then Carol, I saw your question. Let me back up real quick. Apologies, I'm going to go through all of these rather fast. So as logistics about being on campus. So again, this is the building where most of our things are housed, and we do try to schedule all of our classes around here. So this is on Talbot Avenue, which if you can see the map behind it is right there. We have parking all within walking distance. So there's some directly behind the Idigman Arts Center, as well as a lot to the left. And then the closest T-stop is the Medford Tufts stop, so right up here. So it's probably about, I want to say it's I'll add a 7-minute walk. This is rather a big intersection, and depending when you hit the light can take a little bit longer downhill to where we are. There is also some bus stops along College Ave too. So we're pretty close there. And we will be sending out later this month, we call them our welcome kits, but these are just, it'll have your name tag, more information about parking, campus map, stuff like that. So you'll get all of that well ahead of time. Perfect. I think I've covered everything. Martin, I saw you put your email in there. For other instructors, if you'd like to add your emails, if you're comfortable, that way if folks can reach out directly if they have any questions. But our team is also more than happy to connect instructors. So again, if you need assistance registering or you want to ask an instructor more information about their class or connect any that way, please feel free to just email or call our office. Kathy and I are more than happy to help get you registered and connected. But with that, oh, perfect. Amy, I just saw you put your fantastic, everybody. Thank you. All the emails are being populated in the chat. So if there's any questions you have for the instructors today, feel free to grab their emails from there. Membership level, absolutely. I can go back to the beginning. Give me one moment. So these are the membership levels again, and this is for an annual membership. So your membership would be good until June 30th of next year. So you have full access to everything that we're offering. Fantastic. So with that, I'll give a few more minutes if folks want to grab any of the emails from the chat. But again, this was recorded, so we'll clean this up a little bit, and then I'll send this out to everybody attending today, so that way you can watch it again in case you have any follow-up questions or anything. But with that, thank you so much for joining us. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll pull up our email and everything again. Just give us a call, email, anything like that, and we'd be happy to connect and help you out. But thank you all so much for joining us today. Perfect.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, everyone. I'll go ahead and stop the recording too.